The throne room of the Archelian Empire glittered with cold starlight streaming through crystalline walls. At the center, Princess Lysera knelt, her violet skin illuminated in humiliating brilliance as her father, King Heir, passed judgment. "She is barren," he declared to the gathered nobles. "A princess who cannot give us heirs is a useless weight to this empire." Gasps filled the chamber, but Lysera kept her head bowed, her silver hair veiling her face. Inside, her heart screamed. She had done everything to prove her worth as a warrior, a diplomat, even a scholar. But here, among her people, a female's value was measured by the children she bore. "Send her as tribute to the Terran delegation." The king commanded with a dismissive wave. "Let the humans have their curiosity satisfied with her beauty. At least then she serves some purpose." And just like that, Lysera was no longer princess. She was a gift. Commander Ethan Hale of Earth's Stellar Fleet did not expect to receive a living, breathing alien woman as part of a peace treaty. When the Archelian envoy presented Lysera, wrapped in ceremonial silks and chained with gold, his jaw tightened. "We don't trade in people," he told the envoy coldly. "She is no longer a person." The Archelian ambassador replied smoothly. "She is a gesture." Refusing her would offend the king. Ethan looked at Lysera, noting how she stood rigid, expressionless, yet her silver eyes brimmed with silent fury. Against his better judgment, he nodded. "I'll accept her," he said, not as a possession, but as someone he intended to free. Life aboard the Terran vessel was nothing like the palace. Lysera waited for ridicule, for commands, for cold dismissal. Instead, Ethan gave her space, clothes of her choosing, and even asked her opinion during diplomatic meetings. "Why?" she asked him one evening in the mess hall, her voice low and unsure. "Why what? Why treat me as if I still have worth? My people decided I don't." Ethan met her gaze evenly. "Your people are idiots, then. Worth isn't in a womb, princess." Her breath caught. No one had ever said that to her. No one had ever looked at her like that. Like she was simply herself, not a disappointment or a burden. Over weeks, walls she built over years began to crack. She laughed for the first time in months when Ethan tried her planet's spicy fruit and nearly coughed up a lung. She started teaching Terran officers Archelian customs, finding joy in their curiosity rather than scorn. And late one starlit night, in the quiet of his quarters, she and Ethan bridged the distance between species with a single, trembling kiss. Months later, Lysera stared at the medical scan in stunned silence. "This can't be right," she whispered. Dr. Nadia, the ship's physician, smiled warmly. "I ran the test 3 times. You're pregnant, Lysera." Her knees weakened, and Ethan caught her before she fell. "Pregnant?" he echoed, disbelief and wonder warring in his voice. "But I was told—" "I cannot conceive," Lysera choked out. "Maybe not with your kind," Nadia said softly. "But with humans, clearly you can." Tears streamed down Lysera's face as Ethan kissed her temple. For the first time in her life, she felt whole. Word of the impossible pregnancy spread faster than light through interstellar channels. And eventually, it reached the ears of King Heir. The Archelian throne room trembled with his fury. "Summon my fleets," he roared. "They dare to claim my daughter is fertile with a human seed. That child is mine, an heir to my line." His advisors hesitated. "But, Your Majesty, you cast her out." "She is of my blood," he snarled, "and I will not allow some Terran to own what rightfully belongs to Archel." The Elysian dawned. Ethan's ship, braced as Archelian warships, appeared on long-range scanners. Ethan stood in the command center, Lysera beside him, her hands protectively on her growing belly. "They're here for the baby," she whispered. "They'll have to go through me first," Ethan said firmly. "I don't want bloodshed," she pleaded, "but I will not go back to being property." He turned to her, eyes fierce. "Then we fight together, not as human and alien, as family." The confrontation in orbit above Terra, 7 was tense. King Heir himself appeared on the hollow display, his gaze cold and possessive. "Daughter," he said, as if she'd never left, "return to me. Bring the child. Your union with this primate is an abomination, but the heir belongs to Arkiel. Lysera stepped forward, shoulders squared. I am no longer your possession, father, and this child will never be your pawn. You dare defy me? For the first time in my life, she said, voice steady, yes. Ethan reached for her hand, and together they transmitted their reply, broadcasting across the interstellar network for all to see. The disowned princess, once discarded, now standing proud beside a human who loved her. Public opinion turned like a storm. Other Archelian factions, long resentful of Vaynar's tyranny, rallied behind Lysera as a symbol of change. Facing rebellion at home and the threat of Terran retaliation, the king had no choice but to withdraw. Weeks later, Lysera gave birth aboard the Elysian Dawn to a healthy baby boy with violet-tinged skin and silver eyes. As she cradled him, Ethan whispered, "What will we call him?" She smiled through tears. Hope, because that's what he is, for me, for us, maybe even for Arkiel someday. And for the first time in her life, Princess Lysera, once discarded as barren, knew she had truly become what her father never believed she could be, the mother of a new legacy,